Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me. So, on this edition of Sundays in Cybele, we're going to talk about my little pattern addiction because I ordered more patterns. So, here's the thing. I'm going to show you the patterns I got. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think I might make with them, but this is not a sewing plans video because every time I do a sewing plans video, something happens and I can't sew. Like, perfect example, when I was just out sick and I thought I was going to have all this time and I thought I was going to be able to sew, but I had that issue with the one stitch that was so painful that I couldn't actually cut fabric out or patterns out because I was having trouble weaning. So I don't want to go through that again. I will tell you this though, I've made the commitment to try and sew every Friday, even if it's just for a couple hours. Starting when I go back to when I do summer school in the summer, the kids don't go to school on Friday. So I'll have the 2 weeks that we're out in June, plus the whole rest of the summer to sew every Friday. So I'm going to try and make it a habit. So we'll see. But without further ado, let's take a look at the sewing patterns I got. Now, there's a bit of a story behind this. I am obsessed with a woman who was a designer. She's known as kind of the foremost American sportswear designer. Some people say she invented like the American style. She did a lot of separates. She did a lot of sportswear. And she basically did clothes that were comfortable for women because she was a female designer and her name was Claire McCardle. Now, I started an Etsy board just dedicated to Claire. So I'm going to see if I can put the link so you guys can see my Etsy board. But there's a couple things Claire did. She did not do silhouettes that involved a lot of undergarments, very specifically crinolines. She was not a big fan of the new look with the nipped in waist and the huge skirts with the crinolines. She put side pockets and she put pockets in almost everything she made. And she used side zippers so that you could get in and out of your clothes without needing help. I also noticed when looking at a lot of her designs, there weren't a lot of back buttons, which were very common in blouses back then. Most of her blouses buttoned down the front, which makes sense. It's really hard to like button your own blouse, right? Like, okay. So the patterns I bought are very much inspired by her. There's one more style that's kind of a peasant dress that I might try and track down, but we'll see. But let's start with the first one, and I'm going to tell you, there's only a couple. I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking about making, and you'll figure it out when you see it. So here's the first pattern. And the reason I love this pattern, I mean, it's a great skirt, but I'm in love with this shirt. So let me show you the line drawings, because if you look at the sleeve of the shirt, look at the angle of the sleeve. It's really interesting. And it's designed to be loose fitting like that. Like, I don't think I'll make the bra top. I mean, it's cute, but it's not 100% my style. And look at the picture on the bottom. Now, Claire McCardle did make patterns for McCall's. They are outrageously expensive, and I haven't found even one in my size. I would have to I'd have to grade the pattern up so much. I might as well buy a child's pattern, right? So yeah. So I am thinking I'm going to make this skirt with that piping in this fabric. So that's kind of one and only sewing plans that I'm thinking about. And the next one, okay, so this next pattern, so Vogue, by the way, Vogue had a bunch of patterns on sale for $5. And if you know anything about Vogue, you know getting a $5 Vogue pattern is like, it's a sale. These were on clearance. So this particular dress, which kind of kicked off this whole theme, this dress, is because I'm trying to save the dress that I made out of this fabric. Remember this beautiful fabric? I am going to take that dress apart, which is now in my UFO box, and I'm going to try and make that dress out of it because I love this fabric so much. This is just a little scrap piece. That's another thing. I have tons of scrap pieces. So like things like the pockets and stuff on this, I could totally make. Okay, so here's the line drawings, by the way. I have so many scraps. I can use them for all these different weird yoke pieces and everything else. But this is very Claire McCardle. And it's interesting because it has two sets of pockets. I think you can actually, I think there are actual pockets in the side. Now, I think it zips down the back. Yeah, it zips down the back. So I have to figure out, and this will be part of the learning curve for me, how to put the zip in the side when it was supposed to be in the back, because I think it involves changing some darts in the back. So another pattern I picked up from Vogue. So we'll see. But again, that's why I'm not talking about sewing plans, because I don't want to disappoint you guys, but also I don't want to disappoint myself. So, okay. So this pattern, I just thought, wow, what a great skirt pattern. Like, you always need like a good pattern for like skirts. But skirts are one of those things that can be just like incredibly boring design-wise. And I really like that it had this fishtail, or you could just do it this way. I don't know if you guys can see. Can you see these here? These little, they're faux. They don't do anything. And like these lines here. I thought, you know, for $5, that's not a bad basic skirt pattern to have. All right, so the next pattern, because apparently I'm addicted to shirt dresses, but this one is a little bit different, and I'm going to show you the back and you'll see why. All right, see the line drawings on the back? Can you see? This dress has no darts, no pleats, nothing. It is kind of a trapeze style that you simply belt. This is very similar to a very well-known dress by Claire McCardle that's called the monastic dress, which is exactly this. It's just a basic dress that goes straight down and you belt it however you want it. The story goes that she was working for this company and she was wearing this dress and she was designing other things. But when the buyer came and saw her dress, he said, well, where's that dress? And the company said, well, we don't design that dress. It's not, you know, and this was in the 1930s, by the way. So apparently the dress wasn't frilly enough and feminine enough. And the buyer was like, I want that dress. So the buyer bought like 1,000 of them or something. They sold out of wherever the store was, like in a month. So the company decided they better keep making this. Claire McCardle ended up, she worked for a company called Townie. And then eventually in the 50s, Townie, she had left them and she went back to them. And when she went back to Townie, the new dresses had a label that said Claire McCardle for Townie. And like I said, you can go and find like amazing images. But I can tell you, woman to woman, when you look at these, I get it. That these were designed by a woman who was actually wearing her own clothes, not like a male designer that's trying to do something artistic, or even for that matter, a female designer that's trying to do like an artistic kind of, you know, line. She was like, no, this is something you can put on in the morning and you throw a belt on it and you go out, you know, like stuff like that. So here was another one. Also very similar to some Claire McCardle type dresses. I really like this one here in the blue. Can you see that neckline though? Yeah, we're going to have to adjust that. That's, yeah. You know, I'm not like on the like modesty bandwagon or anything, but you know, when you get to a certain age, right? You older ladies know what I'm saying. You don't want to look like that woman who's really working hard to show everybody her boobs because she's older. No, you know, it is what it is, right? So yeah, so those were my patterns. So I spent about $25 on patterns. Got this one off Etsy. It was like $6, not bad. Tried to find this. This is from, be helpful if I knew what year this was from. It's one of the many Simplicity Vintage reissues, but as they usually do, they discontinued it, which is silly because when you look at it, I mean, I just really love that top. By the way, Liz Von Ellis made the blouse. In fact, you know what? I'll link Liz's video of making that blouse down below in case anybody's interested. I'll also link my Etsy page. I'll link the page for my store in case anybody's interested. But you guys, that's about it for today. It's super hot here today, which is why I have this on, because I was doing stuff earlier this morning and I wanted to keep my hair kind of clean. But it's now getting to the point where I think I'm going to have to close the windows, put the air conditioning on because it's that hot. And I try not to put the air conditioning on until we get closer to like actual summer. I love that kind of month in like the month of May and the month of October when I don't have heat or air conditioning on. Where I'm not paying a bill on either of those, right? But unfortunately, it's very warm. So I might have to break down and turn it on. And another thing, I think I'm going to be doing the Goodwill haul video tomorrow because Goodwill sent me a text with a 20% off promotion code. And it's weird. It's not even a barcode. You just show the text to the person at the counter and they take the 20% off. If you're interested in that, all I did was go onto the Goodwill website and there was an area that was like receive special promotions and coupons from us, and you give them your phone number and they text it to you. So I think we're going to do the Goodwill haul tomorrow. We'll see what I can find. But until my next video, please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think of these patterns. Let me know if you've heard of Claire McCardle. Let me know if you're getting the vibe that Claire McCardle was into, because I certainly am. And until then, I hope you're well. I hope wherever you are, it's warm but not too hot. And stay healthy, and thank you for stopping by. See ya.